Hello, today I will be sharing my roaming game. As a roamer, your early game rotation dictates the phase of the game. Your first obligation is to gather information where the enemy core starts. While doing this, you should be very careful, since you might run into 3 or 4 enemies. After getting information, you should help your mid clear the wave. But in this game, the enemy EXP laner moves faster and invades our core. When something like this happened, you should immediately respond to prevent the enemy on stealing the buff. Since Natalia can burst down Lucas, my obligation shifts on keeping an eye on Natalia to prevent her from harming our Lucas again. While staying in this lane, I will also try to pressure Natalia. This will also force the Rafaela to stay in this lane, while our Lucas have some peace clearing his jungle camps. And if the enemies try to stay on this lane, our 2 versus 2 is much stronger than them. If they decide to fight it out, we can just run into them, get some takedowns.
It's good to see you, Rafaela.
Just like that, we gain a big advantage before the turtle spawns. Now my obligation shifts again. Before the turtle spawns, I need to find the enemy core. It just happened that there is a big fight on bottom side. It makes my job easier because we got the enemy core and catch more enemies to gain more advantage. Going into the objective with a massive lead, the next thing I will do is get vision on the enemy core. As a roamer, your damage is low that it barely contributes. So, setting up a vision and zoning the enemy core is what you must do. After securing the objective, my obligation shifts again. Now, I will be pressuring the enemies who is out of position. And since the enemies are scattered around the map, you should start clearing the waves near you to pressure their turrets. It will also force them to defend and take a bad fight that will favor your team. That is the first rotation on the early game. There's a lot to think of, isn't it? Let's discuss the rotation after the first objective. After slaying the first turtle, you should head to your gold lane and help her to stabilize the lane. If your marksman is leading, help her to get some takedowns. If she is losing really hard, just stay to give her safe space to farm gold. After the wave is cleared, there are 2 things you can do. If the enemy stays in lane, stay to defend your marksman, or you can rotate to free up your mid laner and have a partner ganking the lane where the enemies try to make a play. Since Lucas is in the bottom side, we can rotate top side without sacrificing the safety of our marksman. Fast forward, the turtle is about to spawn again. In situation like this, where the allied core is pushing the bottom side, as a roamer, your primary obligation is to delay the enemy team. Buy enough time for your allies to reach the objective. Be careful not to give them free takedown. You just need to buy time. With everything that happened, Martus got taken down. Natalia is forced in a bad position while chasing a kill, and we managed to secure the turtle again. That's a good result for the rotations we made. If you having fun with this, please like this video and subscribe. I plan to make this kind of video. Anyway, this is a high elo game. The average rank of players on this game is Mythical Glory, 85 stars. So I know my videos can help you reach higher rank. Now, to continue with this video, next thing you should do is rotate to the marksman. Just like the second rotation, your goal here is to stabilize your gold lane and help your marksman scale to the late game. You can also try to invade the enemy jungle camps and set up advanced visions to limit the enemy's engage angles. This way you can have a better setup that favors your team. Now that the turtle is spawning, instead of rushing to take a zoning position, it is better to shove the waves first, cause it is less likely for the enemy to contest the objective. We can only invade like this, cause 1 or 2 enemies are busy clearing the minions in mid lane. You can see that small advantage pile up for a bigger advantage later on. So it is very important to be active when you're a roamer. Now we are entering the mid-game phase. In this phase, rotating as a team is a must if you want to keep your advantage. You should always prioritize playing with your strongest ally. In this phase, you can start pushing deep and take the enemy's turret. The best outcome in this phase is wiping out the enemy's inner turret. Don't get too greedy on diving the inhibitor turret, cause it will get you into trouble. Since we are leading in this game, I can play aggressively. The goal here is to find an isolated enemy and have your team collapse on that isolated enemy. Keeping a vision on them will also make the enemy uneasy. It will force them to rotate and just step into their death easily. That's what I'm talking about. Now we will just clean up the jungle camps. Now that the first lord is spawning here, is what you should do. Group up with your team as soon as possible. In situation like this, where the enemies can't burst down lord, scouting the lord pit early is not an option. You can use the lord as bait to force the enemy group up and just take their turrets freely while they waste time grouping up. And when your team has established in the Lord pit, immediately switch to zoning and focus all your skills on the enemy core to prevent him from stealing the Lord. Now that the Lord is on your side, flowing the lanes is what you should do. It will be hard for the enemies if 3 lanes is simultaneously being pushed. Your team will also have higher chance of taking down all 3 inhibitor turret if you push the lanes at the same time. In this game, we used the Lord to force the enemies in mid lane, so we can take down the outer turrets in the side lanes. This strategy will split them apart, making their defense weaker, and for us to make an easier pickoff on the defender. It's 5 against 3, and we have minion wave to push this mid turret. The enemy will not have any choice but to give up this turret, since the enemy is about to spawn and Eudora is low. It's time to reset and fix the waves on the side lanes. This is where comebacks happen. If the leading team gets too cocky and overstayed on the enemy base, there is no point on rushing, especially if you have like this. But as a roamer, you won't have control on what your team will do. After you give them a lot of advantage, they can just throw the game without minding your efforts. So, if you lose because of your allies' mistakes, make sure that you will learn from it and apply it to your next game. In this game, we still managed to pick up the pieces and was able to win the game. That is all. See you on my next video. Goodbye.